During World War II, the United States mobilized more than 12 million men and women into military service. They crossed the Atlantic, dominated the Pacific, and left their footprints across Europe, Asia, and Africa, from the deserts of North Africa straight into the heart of Germany, then onward across island chains toward Japan itself. Despite fighting on an extraordinarily long and dispersed front, American soldiers seemed to grow stronger with every battle. Beyond sheer numbers and overwhelming firepower, there was another secret to their endurance: superior food supply. While Japanese soldiers struggled to hold the front lines with nothing more than dried rice balls, American troops in the rear could enjoy hearty meals: canned meat, crackers, cheese, chewing gum, chocolate, instant coffee, and more. Some of these products are still familiar today, such as Spam, Wrigley's chewing gum, and the world-famous Coca-Cola. So how well were American soldiers actually fed? As the most powerful and industrialized nation of the era, just how far did the US go to keep its troops well-nourished? Today, explore the food rations of the US military during World War II. Logistics, the art of war. In war, logistics is an art. No matter how advanced the weapons or how brave the soldiers, hunger will eventually break any army. The US military understood this perfectly. In 1939, when war first erupted in Europe, the United States had not yet officially entered the conflict. However, military planners already recognized that the coming war would be long, global, and fought across multiple theaters. Once America joined, it would need to fight simultaneously across vast distances, from freezing polar regions to tropical jungles with supply lines stretching tens of thousands of kilometers. As a result, the US military began preparations early. It developed multiple standardized ration types tailored to different environments and combat roles. Nutritionists calculated precise calorie requirements, psychologists studied soldiers' tastes and morale, and major food corporations were directly involved in designing military rations. Each ration had strict standards for weight, volume, calorie content, and the balance of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Even the size of the cans, the thickness of cardboard, packaging, and the design of can openers were standardized. To the US Army, food rations were just as essential as ammunition, fully standardized military supplies. Thanks to this meticulous preparation, the United States built a global, industrialized, and standardized ration system with one single goal: to ensure that every American soldier could eat anytime, anywhere, and even eat well. This reliable material support allowed US forces to maintain sustained combat effectiveness throughout the war. The 5 main ration types of World War II. During World War II, US military rations were divided into 5 main types: Ration A, Ration B, Ration C, Ration D, and Ration K. Each had its own standardized formula and specific use cases, designed to ensure that soldiers received enough energy while maintaining morale. Ration A was the closest to a normal home-cooked meal. It provided fresh meat, vegetables, fruit, and bread, prepared on site by camp kitchens or fixed mess halls. Typical dishes included beefsteak, fried bacon and eggs, mashed potatoes, and bread rolls. All ingredients were fresh, offering the best flavor, but this ration required reliable transportation and refrigeration. As a result, it was used only in rear areas or near supply depots. Ration A became a symbol of comfort behind the lines. Whenever frontline troops were pulled back to rest, the first thing many of them did was rush to the mess hall to devour hot meals from this ration. Ration B, also known as the field ration, can be considered a preserved version of Ration A. The ingredients were similar, but everything was pre-cooked, canned, or dehydrated for easier storage and transport. When fresh food could not be delivered to the front, Ration B became the substitute. Although it consisted of canned food, field kitchens still prepared and seasoned it carefully to recreate the taste of home cooking. Common items included canned beef stew, canned mashed potatoes, chicken soup, canned pasta, and canned fruit. Its main advantage was balanced nutrition in all climates, and if fresh food became available, items could easily be swapped to avoid monotony. Ration C was the most common ration of World War II, and the standard individual ration for US soldiers. One Ration C provided a full day's food and consisted of 6 metal cans, each weighing about 340 grams. 3M cans contained main dishes such as beef and beans, beef and potatoes, beef and vegetables, and later variations like spaghetti with tomato sauce and meat, ham and eggs, bacon and potatoes, and frankfurters. The 3B cans included hard biscuits, chocolate, and instant coffee. In addition, There was an accessory packet containing seasonings, cigarettes, chewing gum, matches, a can opener, and toilet paper. A single ration C provided roughly 3,700 kilocalories, enough for intense combat activity. Its strengths were durability and ease of storage, but its major drawback was weight. 6 cans alone weighed over 2 kilograms. On long marches, this was a heavy burden. Even so, Ration C was the backbone of American frontline logistics. It allowed units far from supply lines to survive and fight, and it became the ancestor of modern combat rations. Ration D was the emergency ration. In essence, it was a special compressed chocolate bar developed by the Hershey Company at the request of the U.S. military. It had 3 defining characteristics. First, high energy density weighing only 113 grams, but providing about 600 kilocalories. 3 bars could sustain a soldier's minimum daily energy needs. Second, heat-resistant oatmeal flour was added to raise the melting point to about 49 C, preventing it from melting in deserts or tropical jungles. Third, intentional poor taste, low sweetness, a texture like hard soap or brick, and a gritty mouthfeel. Soldiers often had to cut it with a knife or bite forcefully just to swallow it. This was deliberate. The army did not want it eaten casually, only in emergencies. American soldiers jokingly called it Hitler's secret weapon because it was so unpleasant it hurt morale. Yet in moments of crisis, Ration D saved countless lives. Ration K was a lightweight, short-term ration designed for paratroopers, scouts, and tank crews, highly mobile units. One Ration K was divided into 3 separate boxes. Breakfast included canned meat, hard biscuits, raisins, dried fruit bars, oatmeal, chewing gum, 4 cigarettes, and 2 packets of coffee. Lunch contained canned pork, canned cheese, canned bacon, hard biscuits, chewing gum, salt tablets, powdered fruit drink, 4 cigarettes, and matches. Dinner consisted of canned sausage, meat and carrot stew, apples, hard biscuits, chocolate, chewing gum, soup powder, powdered drink, 4 cigarettes, and toilet paper. The total weight was about 1.2 kilograms, providing roughly 2,830 kilocalories. It was lighter and more compact than Ration C, but provided less energy, making it unsuitable for prolonged combat or continuous marching. Flexibility across global battlefields. Thanks to this classification system based on environment, mission, and duration, American soldiers could receive the most suitable food on any battlefield, from the frozen landscapes of Europe to Pacific Islands and the deserts of North Africa. This flexible approach avoided rigid, one-size-fits-all solutions. For example, during the Normandy landings, soldiers relied mainly on Ration C and Ration K during the first 2 days because they were compact and easy to carry. Once the beachhead was secured, field kitchens and supply depots were established, and troops were quickly switched to Ration A and B, providing hot, nutritious meals to restore strength and morale. In the Pacific, the lightweight nature of Ration K proved invaluable. However, the hot and humid climate caused biscuits and canned food to spoil quickly. In such conditions, heat-resistant and energy-dense Ration D chocolate became an important calorie supplement. This flexible combination of ration types allowed U.S. forces to adapt to virtually any combat environment. Stars of the soldier's dining table. Beyond military-designed rations, several civilian food products became staples of American soldiers' diets during World War II, after being purchased in enormous quantities by the U.S. government. Many of them later became globally famous. Spam was one such product. It originated in the 1930s during the Great Depression, when many American families could not afford fresh meat. Hormel introduced Spam as a cheap, shelf-stable meat substitute. Its ingredients were simple: pork, ham, starch, sugar, salt, water, and sodium nitrite. For preservation, everything was ground, mixed, sterilized at high temperature, and sealed in small tins. Introduced in 1937 at a price of 40 cents per can, Spam quickly gained popularity among low-income families. However, it was World War II that turned Spam into a global phenomenon. After the U.S. entered the war in 1941, millions of soldiers were deployed to diverse and harsh environments where traditional meat rations were difficult to supply. Compared to dry, salted meat, Spam was cheap, easy to store, and ready to eat. From 1941 to 1945, the U.S. military purchased billions of cans of Spam, and shipped them to every theater of war. Trains loaded with Spam followed American advances from Europe to the Pacific. When fresh meat was unavailable, Spam became the safest and most reliable option. Sliced and fried for sandwiches or chopped and cooked into hot stews, especially useful in tropical jungles where fresh food spoiled quickly. Over time, however, increased starch content to meet massive demand reduced its flavor. Soldiers grew tired of it, giving it sarcastic nicknames like mystery meat or ham that ran away. Yet, in Allied nations, Spam was a treasure. Through Lend-Lease, Spam was shipped to Britain, where meat shortages were severe, to the Soviet Union, where Red Army soldiers spread it on black bread during battles like Stalingrad, and to China via the Burma Road and the Hump airlift. In many places, owning a can of Spam was a luxury. Wrigley's chewing gum was another indispensable item. The U.S. Army discovered that prolonged stress, dehydration, and poor dental hygiene reduced concentration and caused health problems. Chewing gum stimulated saliva, reduced bacteria, freshened breath, and helped relieve stress. As a result, starting in 1941, chewing gum was officially included in the accessory packs of Ration C and Ration K. In amphibious landings, jungle ambushes, or desert heat, chewing gum became a psychological lifeline. Soldiers often reported chewing gum to cope with thirst when water was unavailable. Due to massive military demand, Wrigley withdrew its civilian products in 1944 and devoted all production to the armed forces. After the war, civilian demand exploded, and chewing gum habits spread worldwide alongside American troops. Coca-Cola held a special place in American soldiers' hearts. In U.S. military logistics, Coca-Cola was treated almost as a necessity. Psychological studies showed that familiar tastes could boost morale and reduce stress. Just weeks after America entered the war, Coca-Cola President Robert Woodruff declared that every U.S. soldier anywhere in the world should be able to buy a bottle of Coke for 5 cents, regardless of cost. To fulfill this promise, Coca-Cola built 64 bottling plants worldwide. Following U.S. military advances, over 240 Coca-Cola technicians, jokingly called Coca-Cola colonels, were granted logistical priorities similar to military personnel. Syrup was produced in the U.S., shipped overseas, mixed with local water, carbonated, bottled, and rushed to the front lines. Wherever American troops went, Coca-Cola plants followed. During the war, more than 10 billion bottles of Coca-Cola were produced. In liberated cities across Italy, France, and Belgium, American soldiers distributed Coca-Cola to civilians as both a symbol of Allied friendship and American culture. After the war, most of these wartime bottling plants remained, becoming subsidiaries and helping Coca-Cola expand globally into the world's largest soft drink brand. Food as a weapon of war. The U.S. military ration system in World War II was far more than a means of filling stomachs. It was a global logistical network, a product of industrialization and standardization, and a demonstration of national power. From hot soup in a trench to a small chocolate bar in a backpack, from a piece of chewing gum in moments of stress to a bottle of Coca-Cola that tasted like home food provided strength, morale, and confidence. While German and Japanese soldiers struggled to secure hot meals, American troops could sit behind the lines, eating canned food and drinking Coke while awaiting orders. This difference was not just material, but psychological. The United States turned good food into a form of power and even psychological warfare. As some have said, America didn't just fight World War II, it ate its way to victory.